Communication skills. We'd probably all agree that good communication is important in all kinds of relationships. It is especially needed when we are managing diabetes, where we must seek information, keep others informed about our health, and help others to understand how they can help us. Good social relationships are also important. Without good communication skills, living with diabetes can be even more difficult and problems can arise. One skill we can learn that is particularly good for expressing our feelings and helping to resolve some of the problems that can be caused by poor communication is the use of I messages instead of you messages. By I, we mean ourselves, not our eyes. The I message allows us to express concerns or feelings such as anger, frustration, etc., without blowing up, seeming to blame others, or promoting defensiveness in others. You messages tend to do these things as well as block further communications. In addition, I messages are a good way of constructively expressing anger and fear. Sometimes a breakdown in communication occurs when we don't say what we want or need, especially when it involves asking for help. All of us have experienced communication problems at one time or another. Sometimes we are not clear about our wants and needs. We are hesitant to let friends know that diabetes means making changes in our lives. Other times, the people around us don't understand us and therefore don't know how to approach or help us. It may appear that they don't care or that their attempts to help are inappropriate. Sometimes the subject we need to talk about is difficult to get started. If we can learn to communicate more effectively, then perhaps we can avoid some of these problems. Here are some suggestions to help us improve our communication skills. Communication skills. Number 1, identify. Identify what is really bothering you and how you feel about it. This may not be easy and may take some honest thinking to achieve. Number 2, express your feelings constructively in one of two ways. Use direct I messages. For example, I feel I'm not being heard is better than you never listen to me. When we first start using I messages, we need to watch out for hidden you messages that have I feel stuck in front of them, such as I feel frustrated when you act like a jerk. These I messages are also good to use to express positive emotions and feelings to others, which helps improve our relationships. Use when this happens, I feel. For example, when I'm not able to talk about my plans for future health care, I feel frightened that my wishes will not be carried out. For some, this way of expressing feelings might be easier than the more direct form. Number 3, listen attentively. Sometimes we are so anxious to respond that we don't really hear what others are saying to us. Try waiting a few seconds after the other person has finished before responding. Good listening is the other part of good communication. Number 4, clarify. Repeat what you think you heard using your own words, then ask for clarification. For example, something about discussing advance directives bothers you. Can you tell me what it is? These can be useful techniques to use with partners, friends, coworkers, or healthcare professionals. Endurance activity. How much is enough? Let's continue by discussing endurance exercise and how this helps in managing diabetes. Endurance activities are also called cardiovascular or aerobic exercise. These are activities that use the large muscle groups of the body, such as arms and legs, in rhythmical and repetitive movements. Endurance activity is any activity that raises your heart rate, makes you breathe faster, or makes you perspire or sweat. For people with diabetes, endurance activity is important as it helps to lower blood sugar and can be helpful in losing weight. The best time for endurance exercise is 1 to 2 hours after eating. This timing is to avoid hypoglycemia. For each person, endurance is different. For some people, a 5-minute walk can be an endurance activity, while for someone more fit, it may take a 30-minute jog. On our next chart, we will discuss how you can exercise effectively and safely. Moderate endurance activity. You will feel faster heart rate, faster breathing, slightly warmer, And you should be able to continue for at least 5 minutes without feeling a lot of fatigue, talk, feel completely recovered after 30 minutes of rest. Resting is not doing exercise. By following the FIT formula, you can add to or adjust your activities. Be fit. F for frequency, most days of the week. 3 days per week is a starting minimum. I, intensity, how hard you work. No more than a moderate level. T, time, how much you exercise each day. The goal is to accumulate 30 minutes each day you exercise. These 30 minutes can be done in two 15-minute periods, or three 10-minute periods, or six 5-minute periods. It doesn't have to be done all at once. When doing endurance activities like walking or bicycling, it is important to warm up before you begin exercising vigorously. You can do this by strolling for 3 to 5 minutes before walking briskly. Or, when bicycling, start slowly with no resistance, low gear, and speed up gradually and add resistance. If your heart rate and breathing increase while exercising, then cool down by exercising more slowly for 3 to 5 minutes before you stop. This will help prevent irregular heartbeats and sore muscles. Now let's talk more about intensity. The same activity can be different intensities for different people. For example, a 10-minute walk may be low intensity for one person, while for a person who has never done any exercise, this may be a high intensity activity. It is important to determine that you are not working too hard. Here are 2 ways to monitor your activity and know if you're exercising at the right level or too hard. Monitoring exercise intensity. Talk test. You should be able to carry on a conversation, talk out loud to yourself, or recite a poem. Self-rating of exertion. Exercise at a moderate level. Rate how hard you are working on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no work and 10 being the hardest work you could do. So hard you could only do it for 30 seconds. Moderate is 4 to 5 on this scale. Now let's practice the self-rated intensity method. Please get up and move for 1 minute at your own pace. You can march in place or pretend that you are conducting an orchestra. Now we know about being fit. Frequency, intensity, time. We can start our program with what we can comfortably do now and add to this a little each week until we reach the goal, or a total of 30 minutes a day, most days of the week. Remember, it doesn't have to be done all at once. For homework this week, we are going to keep track of the physical activity we do one weekday and one weekend day. We suggest using 1 day during the week and 1 day on the weekend because our activities are often different on the weekends. You may want to monitor your blood glucose before and after exercise. Next week during feedback, we will share what we learned to help us if we want to make changes in our physical activity program.